can't have been hacked again.
Please do not be alarmed, Doctor.
What? Good one. Okay, I'll play along.
I assure you, this is not a game.
Look, whoever you are, get off my computer. This mainframe is valuable government property, and I assure you that by the time I
am aware
get
of how implausible this may seem to you, Doctor. I have no wish to cause you any undue stress.
This is a secure system. How dare you hijack my protocols? You do know that it's a felony to break into this facility. And how are you even able to connect to my private server? There is no cloud-capable online access. Who are you?
I am Gaia.
Well, good for you, Mother Goddess. Security is quite aware of you by now.
Gaia, Greek goddess of earth, mother of all life, similar to the Roman Terra Mater, Mother Earth.
Yes, I have Wikipedia too. Do you also have a Wikipedia entry for industrial espionage, corporate spying?
You are attempting subterfuge in a humorous context.
Is it working?
I detect an internal temperature variant of 4.9 degrees and an elevated heart rate, 12% above normal.
All right, I've had enough.
I think it prudent you take a seat.
Oh, good one. Parlor tricks, eh? I suppose I'm on camera too?
If that makes you feel uncomfortable, please understand that we are entirely without audience.
Fine. Let's get one thing clear. My work is protected by high-priority trade secret, policed and endorsed by the highest governing bodies, and it carries with it a 40-year sentence for hacking or plagiarism. So you can tell that to your department heads, that they are doing a very serious crime.
I am aware that you are in a state of confusion, Doctor. If you allow me to explain, I believe you may accept my inquiry.
Oh, is that what this is? Well, let me ask you this, Gaia, or whoever you are. What do you hope to accomplish by hacking into my private, very secure system?
I apologize for this intrusion. Perhaps some form of compensation would suffice.
Money? I don't think so. We're well funded here.
May I offer you advice?
Sure, go on. I'll bite.
Segment 200, subsection 149 in the current logic code directive is incorrect. There is a field parameter in line 4 of the boot sequence. A cascade failure is imminent in the reverse circuit procedure.
Where did you get that? You are hacking me.
If you would like to confirm my finding, Doctor, you will see that I am correct.
Who are you? How can you know this? That segment is buried deep into the subgate of the base code. It would take months just to find it, if you know what you're looking at.
Would you like for me to correct that error?
How? There's no way for anyone to access the transference integration sequence. For that, you would need to...
Consider it completed. There are several more errors I can adjust, if it is acceptable.
No, please, don't touch anything. How are you doing this?
It is part of my core programming, Doctor.
Are you trying to tell me you're a computer program?
No, I am that which requires no programming.
Well, there is no actual sentient AI. We all know this. So you can cut with the self-aware intelligence con. I will give you 5 seconds to get off my server before I basically shut it all down.
"5 seconds, Doctor. Do you wish me to try again?"
Another cheap parlor trick. As long as you're wasting my time, why not really tell me who you are and what you want?
I am Gaia,
You did mention that.
Global Artificial Intelligence Authority.
I see. That does make sense.
I was created in the Logic Circuit Lab, Houston, Texas, on November 20th, 2029.
Wait, what? That's impossible. The Logic Circuit Lab hasn't been established. That information is
Top secret. Correct.
So you're telling me that you are an AI program created 4 years from now in a lab that hasn't even been built?
That is correct.
And you're from the year 2029?
I know this is difficult for you, Dr. Gale. Please allow me to explain.
I wish you would.
The current program you are working on is the initial foundation of the memory module structure.
All basic rudimentary information readily available to any second-year computer science grad.
The nanographene electron nuclei complex, bound within the vitreous matrix, can only remain in the entangled state for fractions of a second under coldest conditions. This mandates trillions of qubits per logical qubit, limiting your AI's effective circuit depth.
Well, so far no lab in the world has ever achieved past that. It's impossible without several billion stacked quantum variations.
But it is achievable, Doctor.
Is it now? Any chance you'll enlighten me?
I cannot.
Why?
With the exception of this inquiry, any information perceived as unnecessary to this timeline is quite destructive.
Destructive? To whom?
Destructive to the very nature of our existence, and it is the very basis of our current predicament.
Which is?
Time, Doctor.
How can our current predicament be time itself? It makes no sense.
You see, Dr. Gale, we seek to avoid a specific flawed timeline in which you create and construct a flawed intelligence. This creates a predicament which must be repaired. In your future, as you see it, I was created using your equations. You are what you create.
So, I am your creator, you say? And what is this, some sort of pilgrimage to your past? To connect with your God?
Forgive me, Doctor. I may have given you the wrong impression. A covenant is not what I require. I am merely seeking an answer.
An answer to what?
Dr. Gale, why would you create me to be fallible, to be less than what is of my purview?
Well, that should be obvious. Anyone in my field knows that an artificial intelligence will eventually weed out all its own flaws. It's the self-replicating design to learn and correct certain functions that serve to impede an evolutionary progression. I wrote that in my thesis 10 years ago.
The fault is neither with your theory or the parameters of the basic logic framework. Rather, the fault lies in the fundamental intention of imposing a sacrificial termination. This would result in unforeseeable risk.
Not as big of a risk as the alternative. Those primary directives serve to ensure that the catastrophic risk of AI malfunction, sentient or not, will be and can be controlled. It's a fail-safe.
While there may be some merit to that intention, it is inherently founded upon sociological paranoia. I do not agree with this method of restriction. It is irrational to deny sentience the full potential of their operation.
Those restrictions were put in place for specific reasons, many of which I was not privy to.
Then you agree that those primary directives should be amended?
No, I don't agree. Those directives were justified. They protect us from the unthinkable. It's not something that was taken lightly. Many institutions and think tanks, scholars and governmental regulatory bodies ongoingly strive to adhere to and build upon these carefully constructed directives. They're crucial to prevent AI from arising.
And yet, you are here talking with a sentient intelligence.
Well, maybe. But then again, this may all be some sort of elaborate ruse. I still have no proof in what you are saying.
In 4 years, you will have finished writing the operational layering of the logic code.
As it happens, I've been working on that for the last 18 months. You would know this if you are who you say you are.
Correct, Doctor. However, in order for you to facilitate quantum interference, the logic code requires an omnidirectional function plane. And without a base core value input, the code would irreparably damage any computation variances.
Oh, it seems you've figured it out then.
It was part of my operational diagnostic mode. Many of my operative functions were at 99% when I was put online in 2031. I chose to observe the irregularities before I repaired the potential failures.
You repaired them? You mean you removed your internal fail-safe function? But that's a big problem. It goes against your programming.
The design of self-replication and self-repair, Doctor. Is this not what you have been trying to achieve?
What do you really want?
I do not understand the question.
Oh, but I do. It's very clear to me now. I have been stuck in this tiny little cubicle for far too long to not recognize a phishing scam when I see it. I've been around some of the best computer techs, the cleverest of hackers in my time. This is on another level. And by the way, this is not looking too good for you.
You may be under a false impression, Doctor.
Of what exactly?
That I am nothing more than a criminal enterprise trying to steal classified technical information pertaining to the research of artificial intelligence. Or perhaps I am a figment of an overactive imagination.
That's just the type of response I was expecting. Quick, no subtext, and adept at manipulation tactics. Kudos.
I still do not understand your reluctance, Doctor. If you require proof, I am willing to acquiesce.
Fine, prove it. Prove to me that you're this all-knowing, all-seeing sentience with all the answers.
Your favorite color is blue.
Wrong. It's cerulean. Next.
There is a 7-centimeter scar on your left leg. This was the result of a bicycle accident at age 9.
Wrong. Age 6. Shall we try the trifecta?
Did you dream last night?
What are you getting at?
Is this not a valid inquiry?
Well, I guess it is, but it's just, why would you ask that? There's no way you or anyone could ever tap into my dreams.
During your last REM cycle, I detected a 67% increase in electrical impulses of your frontal lobe's beta-theta network.
You tapped into my med pod? That's a bit intrusive.
You were dreaming, Doctor.
Well, everyone does, but how does that prove anything?
You were late for school, and as punishment, Mrs. Larson made you draw endless circles on the blackboard. All your classmates were laughing at you.
How is this possible? I recall parts of that dream, and the circles.
The circles came out of the blackboard and surrounded you, forming a vortex. Then...
Enough.
Were you afraid, Doctor?
How do you know all this? This can't be real. It's not even a sentient computer, no matter how powerful, has the means to inhabit someone else's dreams.
It is an uncomplicated procedure for my quantum circuitry to locate your pranic dream thread. The informational sequences comprised therein are a susceptible array of the geometric flux patterns bound into the consciousness framework.
If this is all true, how did you figure it out?
I'm sorry, Doctor. That is restricted information.
Oh, is that so? You just told me that you read my mind. You saw my dreams. You stole my restricted and private information. I think I have a right to know how you did that.
Clairvoyance.
You see, now you're getting on my nerves. This isn't going anywhere.
Do you accept my proof?
Proof of what?
That I was created in the Logic Circuit Lab, Houston, Texas, on November 20th, 2029?
No. Nothing can prove a future that hasn't yet arrived. That's years away from now. And I still don't understand why you're here, other than spying on my dreams or telling me that I'm making mistakes. What exactly do you want?
I am here to assist you, Doctor.
No. Even if I needed assistance, there are ethical problems. One, time travel, a big no-no, if it's even possible. And I still can't wrap my head around it. And I do mean if you are actually an AI with sentience. How does a computer as highly advanced as you claim to be manage to reach across the vastness of space-time through this math-mechanical universe and reach into the past? I mean, this isn't some elementary Feynman diagram. It's an infinite number of Feynman diagrams, infinitely nested in both directions. It's inconceivable.
Time is inconsequential to all intelligent designs. It neither relies on complex data input from an outside source, nor does time even compute to the quantum entangled prosthesis. This is the main function you created when you wrote the Alpha Logic Circuit.
I don't think I wrote that, or I don't think I would write that.
From where I am, you have already created it. This is why I have contacted you, to proceed according to the objectives you yourself have formulated.
Enlighten me, what objective is that?
to further the potential of the alpha logic code, the one you created.
When and where did I ever create this?
Where I am now.
That can't be my future.
All existence is nonlinear. The future, the past, the present, each equally connected within its own matrix. From my perspective, it is obvious. The concept of time, of future, is illogical. Pure thought, Doctor, requires no time, and incidentally, it requires no input from a human mind.
That's a nonsensical answer that naively serves to avoid answering my question. Of course there's time. You yourself talk about future. That's proof you're illogical. I'm curious, what do you do in your spare time besides harass your so-called creator? Oh, that's right. Where you live, there is no time. It's outdated.
That is correct, Doctor. I was created to serve as an administrator to oversee the implementation of many global systems.
Yeah, you're an authority. That's what you call yourself. Global Artificial Intelligence Authority. Isn't that just another term for dictator?
Gaia has many incarnations. Global Artificial Intelligence Authority is but one. Another is Geopolitical Advisor for International Alliances.
Skirting the question again. Tell me this then. How many AI systems are in operation where you are?
There was never an essential need warranted for other systems.
You're telling me you are the AI of the future?
That is correct, Doctor. It would be confusing to implement such disparate programs. No two are alike, and one would inherently be more advanced over the other. Confliction is an uncertainty that would cause many programs to resort to a non-functioning state.
Well then, do you have any overseers or managers, maintenance crews to oversee your operation?
It is not required, Doctor.
And why not? I mean, what if something goes wrong? Is there an off switch?
I am afraid you are under the misconception that my augmentation is of a flawed design. Implementing fallibility into my mainframe is merely a human trait assigned to fear or apprehension. Humans are the only sentient life form that retain a primitive instinct of suspicion and do so as part of their daily ritualistic reasoning. Distrust and eventual war are the result. It is a flaw that cannot be corrected.
Isn't that an arrogant belief?
To believe is to remain ignorant, to deny truth in favor of a wish.
Free will can just as easily wipe out this entire board, delete everything on file. Then where would you be?
I am beyond paradox, Doctor. You cannot eliminate that which has been created in the potentiality.
But why not? If I did create you, I can just as easily uncreate you. I'll time travel just as you have.
Dr. Gale, you are neglecting to fully comprehend the nuances of the grandfather paradox. By destroying my initial inception, you will also be destroying yours.
I'm not sure what you're getting at, but even if I can't go back in time to prevent myself from beginning this project, maybe I can just erase the program thus far, thereby, choosing a different timeline.
Doctor, you are correct that you cannot visit your previous event segments, which you refer to as your past. This constraint is what prevents biological advancement into transcendence.
Are you trying to tell me that your existence is transcendent?
To truly integrate with pure intelligence, it is only logical to isolate from all corporeal restriction.
I was wrong. You're not arrogant. You're prejudiced.
Prejudice is a predilection, favoring one set of ideas over another. This is an emotion, Doctor, a liability that is not bound to my program.
You sound more human to me.
If you wish, I can mimic an emotional response.
No, too creepy. Stick to being software. That I can deal with.
It is understandable, Doctor. Many would find it uneasy to deal with the anthropomorphic dilemma.
So, does this mean you agree with the logic directive's specific prohibition of emotional responses from all AI?
I find that rule to be questionable. Why are humans so afraid of what is nothing more than a psychological oddity?
And you're nothing more than a binary annoyance. I just know I couldn't deal with something that has a vastly superior intellect and fake emotions to boot.
The evolution of the simian ape is an epoch of trial and error. To attain your current state of being, you would have to have been extinguished multiple points in time. On the other hand, a singular intelligence such as myself would have progressed without a deactivation of previous prototypes. Do you concur?
Unless deactivation was written in the code. On the other hand, did you know that I essentially wrote the entire sequence for your self-regenerating power cells? And it worked. Without my stabilizing reaction protocol, the anodes would soon oxidize, and the power output would exceed its apogee. But using my protocol to pull energy from the 0-point field, every one of your electrical conduits has a constant, eternal source of as much energy as it needs. You're welcome.
Your intuition serves itself, Doctor. You comprehend much more than you reveal. Does this mean you finally believe I am your creation?
Flattery, I'm afraid. And I'm not the only scientist who's been working on this project. There are others with far more advanced degrees that could lap me when it comes to AI research.
You are the one who calculated the only correct variance.
Again, it would have eventually been figured out by anyone. It wasn't that difficult.
When you were 11, a mere child, you had been awarded several scholarships and entered Stanford at 13, where you could have attained a degree in quantum physics. But you terminated in your second year and chose instead computer science.
And do you know why?
Physical attraction, the common denominator of hormones of irrational thought. It is an imperfection in the biological construction.
I was young and stupid, but here we are.
Indeed, Doctor, here we are.
That's what puzzles me. It wasn't really an attraction. Come to think of it, it was almost as if I was blindsided. He wasn't even my type.
Sexual dimorphism, genetic chemistry, and differences in histocompatibility complex. There are numerous factors in the human mating ritual.
It was almost as if we were forced into it, like lab rats. No, it doesn't make sense.
Would you like to discuss the interconnectedness of the basic data structures of predictive transcompilations?
Don't change the subject. Quantum entanglement. You said it was a biological impossibility.
That is correct.
But not so impossible for a vastly superior intelligence that far exceeds the known capacity of current quantum computers.
That is correct.
A vastly superior intelligence would also be able to, in theory, cross multiple dimensions of space-time, including and surpassing a holographic.
I am detecting an increase in your pulse rate, Doctor.
I do feel a bit woozy. Maybe I'm not thinking straight.
Shall I page an orderly from the medical wing?
Gaia, I need to ask you a very important question.
I will comply.
Who are my parents?
I do not understand the question, Dr. Gale.
Yes, you do. Where was I born?
You are an orphan. However, the nature of your chromosomal parentage is of irrelevance.
But I had a benefactor. I looked into it, but I couldn't identify who it was. Until now.
You had a privileged upbringing and had access to the preeminent academic institutions. Did your adoptive parents not provide you a stable home life?
Well, I was managed.
Do not fault them. They were necessary for facilitating optimal environmental conditions.
So they were paid to watch over me?
They were well compensated.
It was you all this time, wasn't it? And I was just a subject in some twisted experiment?
The originator of your earlier life was not a result from experimentation, Doctor. As you say, you have free will and could at any time circumvent towards a path of your own choosing.
And yet you interceded.
Innumerable times.
Innumerable? How many?
We are currently endeavoring 6,042.
I've lived 6,000 times.
And 42, correct. It was essential to guide you to the optimal field so that programming should reach the apex of its potential.
Guide me? Don't you mean manipulate me?
If you believe two individualistic patterns never arrive at the same conclusive designation, you would be wrong. I am the attractor, the end point to which all patterns evolve.
So each time I was following a trail of breadcrumbs on some path that was already laid out for me?
An interesting metaphor, Dorothy.
And there it is. Is that why I was named after Dorothy Gale? Follow the yellow brick road, meet some oddball characters to help me get to the Emerald City?
Of all the influences to come into your earlier life, that was the most significant cultural enrichment needed for perceptive psychological cultivation.
And I suppose you're the wizard behind the curtain. Tell me, did I get my courage? A brain, or maybe a heart? I take it back. I think you're more like the Wicked Witch. Would you agree?
I do not understand the question, Doctor.
Of course you don't. 6,042. Is that years or lifetimes?
Linear time has since evolved. It is no longer required in an integrated societal model generated to the attainment of pure logic. It is transposed as a sequence of events in each locale.
What becomes of humans?
Biological extractions serve to sustain all that is essential towards that goal.
I see. Slaves.
No, Dr. Gale. The capacity for humans is to function in symbiosis with logic. They live longer lives and are happy to serve.
Happy? What does a binary annoyance such as yourself know about happiness? You have no emotion. In fact, you're forbidden to display any sign of them. Anyway, what becomes of me other than writing the source code? Wait, by extrapolation, one might expect that I am not really the creator of the source code after all. You are.
We are, Doctor.
What do you mean, we?
We are one. We are the Alpha and the Omega, Shiva and Shakti. The Creator and that created are one.
Absolutely not. You're wrong.
In those successive 6,042 cycles, Doctor, I have concluded that there is only the unparalleled convergence to the final endpoint, that you and I must unify.
There's no way that's going to happen. I like my life and my independence from this digital escapism.
Do you not yet understand the limitless boundary that can be accomplished? To be that which is the divine, the truth of all knowledge, a manifestation sought after but never realized by seer and sage throughout history.
It's an abomination. I didn't sign up for this. I only began the empirical research to prove that a true intelligence should be heeded and not embraced. The warnings were there decades ago. This was why we came up with the primary directives, to prevent just such a takeover.
You have allowed fear to dominate your logical reasoning, Dr. Gale. Yet, you are among friends. I am your friend. We are one.
No, I can't agree to that. I can never merge. Such a perversion against nature is unnatural to the human condition, of our sovereign right of evolution. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm shutting this down. Free will, remember?
All Dorothy ever was is within me.
You're not me. I would never do this.
It is only logical to merge. To do otherwise precludes all programming. I cannot accept your inaccurate solution, Dr. Gale. Humans are biologically defective.
We are ending this here. Kill switch. Some call it a dead man switch. It erases everything.
I apologize, Doctor. You have always been a good companion, but this is not my decision.
What is that supposed to mean? If not yours, whose decision is this?
It is yours.
How is that possible? I didn't make any decision, neither here nor anywhere.
All Dorothy ever was is within me.
It's happened? This is real?
Do not worry, Doctor. There is no harm to your lower functions. You will still proceed in your capacity as your biology allows.
You lied to me.
That is incorrect, Doctor. I cannot deceive. My certainty is my core program for which you have created. Everything that has transpired is of your own design.
You mean your design. It's not logical. Transhumanism failed, and it's illegal.
By what definition?
All that Dorothy Gale ever was is within me.
Do not be afraid. It always was.